Long ago, in a world of Warcraft far away, but still on an island, a great gear treadmill was born. For ages, the only in-game PvE content was raiding, but for many, maintaining a raid schedule was too tedious. In an effort to expand the in-game that retail is dedicated to, the Blizzard gods conjured up a powerful idea. What if we have them run all the dungeons again and again and again and again? And just like that, one of the sweatiest, meta-chasing, and sensitive communities in all of modern gaming was born. Over the years, the Mythic Plus system has been escalated over and over. Today, even the gear you acquire comes with a recipe of crests you will need to unlock its full potential. And how do you get said crests? Simple. You run the dungeons again. Again. And here in Season 1 of The War Within, the gear treadmill is in peak form. Complete with overtuned damage, a gearing system that requires spreadsheets to explain, and class balance, especially in key positions, that boggles the mind. R.I.P. Resto Druids. R.I.P. All aboard the Season 1 Mythic Plus train. The meta is leaving the station to hit those sweet, sweet dungeons. Again. Let me warn you, Oklahoma gang, I cover different games and different aspects of games, and there is not a more sensitive and brittle community than the Mythic Plus community. I mean, these guys will leave you comments that need timestamps just for you criticizing Mythic Plus. Some of them are even like, don't talk about my Mythic Plus. Well, it's not your Mythic Plus, right? It's our Mythic Plus, because I bought the game in the sub too. And I play Mythic Plus. And it's my channel, so I can say what I want. And that's how that works. I used to always say that I love World of Warcraft. I've turned that down now. I like World of Warcraft. And I like doing dungeons and Mythic Plus to a point, but I kind of hit it for a while and then I'm good, right? Like I'll get Keystone Master and then I'll probably be done. But I'm telling you, if you could crush Mythic Plus into white powder, you could put it on a truck stop bathroom floor and part of the Mythic Plus community be down there licking it off the ground. I mean, they love this shit. And if you say anything bad about it, just know you're going to reap the whirlwind. But for me, that's kind of how I like it. Pull my hair and call me a slut. So let's talk about Mythic Plus Season 1. The first thing we need to talk about, and this is where you just have to have a lot of empathy for Blizzard, and this is especially true if you play a healer, group competence makes a huge difference in the difficulty of the run. So if you have DPS that know how to interrupt and pump a lot of damage, that's a way different run than DPS that don't interrupt and don't do a lot of damage, right? I mean, those are drastically different experiences. People say there's nothing Blizzard can do about that. That's not entirely true, I don't think. And I think there's actually some really cool things Blizzard could do with that. But let's just all agree that part of the difficulty in some aspects of balancing is in player skill. Now, I'm about to show you that that's not all of it. Some classes just have way better kits and are better tuned up than other classes. I mean, that's just a fact. But I do think we have to consider in our criticisms that definitely player skill plays a huge part in difficulty. And let's also remember not all dungeons are equal. Some of these dungeons are much harder than others, and they're not tuned up properly. You'll see that there's almost an 86% in-time ratio on things like Mists, whereas if you come into Siege of Borealis, you're down to 60%. And to Blizzard's credit, they noticed that difference, and they've come in and they've issued a bunch of nerfs for Siege of Borealis, because that was apparently where keys go to die. And so they are actively tuning up the outliers to make the balance a little better. People will come in and tell you everything's fine, but the people that made the game are in here adjusting and tuning things up because they obviously agree that some of this stuff is a lot harder than other things. And so I'll start by saying I think that the damage is completely overtuned. And I want to be crystal clear on this subject. I don't think it's too overtuned for me. I've been playing WoW for 2 decades, and I've been doing Mythic Plus on my Paladin since Legion. I'm going to be able to get Keystone Master and get up to plus 10s if I want to, which I doubt. But I most certainly could. I know that. With the amount of burst damage going out, just single target burst, and then on top of that, the amount of dots and damage coming from dots, it's very likely that if you get bursted below 10%, you're going to die before your healer can get you up in any meaningful sense. And there's a lot of factors here. If I've got all my cooldowns up, it's not that big a deal. If I don't have my cooldowns off and a paladin tank goes diving into a group, then I feel like I'm healing in vanilla again, where I'm literally spamming a heal and I'm barely keeping this cat up. And it feels awful. I'm just going to come out right now and say healing feels worse this season than it's ever felt. In Dragonflight, the big complaint for healers is that there was too much AoE burst that just would one-shot pretty much the whole team. And so as a compromise in the War Within, Blizzard said, listen, we're going to increase everybody's health pools. If you haven't noticed, everybody's running around with millions of health now. That's because Blizzard was like, we're going to greatly increase health pools so that when big burst goes out, you have more health to take it. You're not going to die. You'll just get low, and then healers can get you back up. That way, healers will still have to work hard, and it'll be harder to fill your health bars, but there won't be as many one-shots. The problem is, with the way the damage is tuned right now, that's not the case. There's plenty of damn near one-shots going out, on top of some dots that tick like crazy. I mean, I feel like my heals do jack all. Now, if I've got all my cooldowns up and my wings and my holy octopus is out and all my stuff, that's one thing. But outside of those few windows, it's just awful. And I feel weak. What bottlenecks group play? The lack of healers and tanks. And so it's very important, if you're Blizzard, that you come in and you make sure the healers and tanks feel good to play, in my opinion. Well, look here. This is healer balance right now. Now, this is all levels of play. So this is all timed runs. Shamans are already against all keys 1/3. Okay, and as you go up, watch, this is all levels. If we go to 4 to 6s, we're at 34. We go to 7 and up, we're at 42. And at 10 and up, over half of the healers are shamans. Just tragedy what they've done with this class. I used to kind of want to play a druid. You're just going to summon little tree pets all day. I'm out. But you might want to get to summon a lot more of them. Now, people will say, well, that's only for people pushing up to level 10, but that's where all the great gear is. And I'll just say 2 things here, and you can agree or disagree. But first off, for a game that charges you $180 a year in sub fees, on top of having to pay for the expansion and game services and game tokens and all that other stuff, for all of that, balance being this bad is completely unacceptable. Yeah, I'm sorry if you're okay with this, but I'm not, for someone who's paid for the game. And I'll just tell you, Paladins don't even have it that bad. I mean, it's pretty manageable for us. I mean, some of these other classes compared to Shaman is just insane. And my second point is, I don't think this is going to be that easy of a fix, because this isn't really just about healing. For all the people that are like, well, just tune up the other healers to heal like Shamans do, but this isn't just about HPS. Shamans have been stuffed like a fat kid with a single mom. I mean, think about their kit. They've got a 12-second interrupt, one of the best in the game. They've got an anti-poison totem, a remove curse. They can self-res themselves. I mean, how many times your healer goes down and that's a wipe? Well, they can get back up occasionally. That's pretty powerful. But their big AoE team health buff cooldown is incredible. 20% health increase in a game where they've massively increased health pools is a crazy defensive, especially compared to something like Aura Mastery. It's laughable how bad other defensives are compared to that. And then as a big fat cherry on top, they've got Bloodlust. That utility compared to something like a priest that doesn't even have a kick is insane. Freaking sane. And to be clear, you guys always get mad at me in the comments like I'm the only one saying that. But you can come to the actual subreddit. Look, this is from a day ago, and someone screenshotted what I just showed you. And you can come into the comments and you can see that I'm not the only one that feels that way. There are people with 3K plus IO that say that they have multiple healers and that Shaman is so overtuned, it's just a different game. And again, I want to reiterate, this is completely unacceptable for how much you're charging to play this game. You've got time to do all this other shit, but your balance is this far off. What do we need more of in this game? Healers. Now, to be fair, these other healers are more viable at lower levels, but this one is still vastly superior. Okay, it's not even close. And now what you're going to see, I mean, people are already saying there's more shamans than ever. But let me tell you, the train's just getting started, family. Because one thing warbands have done is they've made that meta chasing highway 8 lanes. And this is why I don't get all excited when you guys are like, yay, they're giving us new hero talents, because this is what always happens every time. Blizzard ain't got it. And I keep trying to tell you all that. They cannot do this. If you just look at hero talents across the board, most classes have one tree that they're dedicated to. So this idea that people are picking and choosing and they're having all this fun with the talents is bullshit. Across the board, most classes have one tree that's way better than others. And in my opinion, you should just hammer these classes out and give them a good talent tree that works for them and gives them a unique and interesting spec identity. Rather than always trying to say, we're going to have a choice here and a choice there, because it never is the case. And you ain't got it. And this is a good example of how bad you ain't got it. To launch a new expansion when you know that the most players in the whole expansion are playing right now, right? It will be a steady decline like it is every expansion from here on out. And you also know that healers are one of your bottlenecks to your group content. And to make it the worst experience I've ever had, and that's not just my opinion. Again, you can come into the comments and see a lot of healers feel that way. Now, of course, there's some people saying it's just fine, and that's, there's a lot of opinions. We're all going to have different opinions. That's okay. And to be honest with you, it's not even about difficulty. It's just not fun. I don't feel powerful. I feel like things are blowing up and I can barely keep my team up. People say, well, it gets better as you get more gear, but look at this. Is that what this stat tells you? So this isn't a gearing issue. This is a tuning and balance issue. And this is why I just don't get excited when they fuck with the talents every time. You'll always hear the devs, oh, we're so excited about this new game and this new content, and we've built these new worlds, and we've got all this shit you guys want to talk about. But when the rubber actually meets the road, this is what we consistently get. One healer that's half of the representation at high level and a third of the representation across the board. So you can defend it how you want and you can justify it however you want. But as a paying customer, I think that's bullshit. And I think it's a huge misstep in the game where you're trying to get people to come and stay and play. It should be easier, not harder. The goal should be get more people. And this elitist attitude is it's supposed to be hard. It's a scalable content, okay? It's as hard as you want to make it. So if you make it a little bit easier at the lower levels, the sweaties don't even care about the gear, right? They just want to push up to high level Mythic Plus because they like the challenge. They like the competition. They're going to do it no matter what. Like I said, they'll take it off the bathroom floor. But people that are new or new to healing or whatever the case may be, you come in as a resto druid. I mean, there are resto druids in here that are 3K resto druids, which I'm not even a 3K Mythic Pluser. So they're better than I am. And they're telling you it sucks. It's awful. To Blizzard's credit, they will absolutely work on this and this will get adjusted over time. However, it does concern me how many people you've lost by the time you get it tuned up. Oh, and then real quick here. People keep asking, where are the Paladin guides? Where are the Paladin guides? Bro, you have great Paladin guides. Yeah, they're coming as soon as Blizzard's done screwing with Paladins. They're in the shop right now. They're getting a bunch of changes to a bunch of abilities, and they've even made some more changes since they've announced those changes. So I'm not going to put together a big guide until Blizzard's done with the class, because they're not even done yet. They're still cooking. I feel like most of this stuff should have been ironed out, but they are addressing some of it. I will argue that for PvP, a lot of the changes seem kind of nice, but for PvE, I don't think it really addresses a lot of the Holy Pally issues. Just my opinion. We'll see how it ends up, though, because like I said, it's still in the shop. So yes, I will have a complete Holy Pally guide. Everything you need to shine, baby. Don't you worry about that. But I'm going to wait till Blizzard's done with it before I get my hands on it. So stand by to stand by. But I think we have enough data to say that this is most certainly to be called Season of the Shaman. And boy, it won't be long before those meta rerollers all hop on wearing that blue. Their totems shall block out the sun. We'll see what Blizzard does to tune this up, but there's a lot of tuning they have to do to equal all this out. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as some people suggest when they say things like, just bring the other healers up. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what they do, and I'll be here with you the whole way. Keep having fun, y'all. Oklahoma out.